This new data comes from a financial analysis completed in September by the nonpartisan state budget agency. It hasn't been disclosed until now. It shows the state faces millions of dollars potentially in additional expenses on top of the social services funding that was approved during the special session. During the two-week special session this past summer, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle said they anticipated additional costs to the state following the passage of a near-total ban on abortion. They approved roughly $75 million in social services funding as a starting point, but a fiscal analysis from the nonpartisan state budget agency predicts more funding would need to come out of the state's general fund. This previously undisclosed document, which we obtained through a public records request, estimates the cost of the Attorney General's office to defend the abortion ban adds up to $2.75 million over the next 3 fiscal years. And with more Hoosiers being born, the state budget agency estimates roughly $55.8 million in that same time frame for health care coverage from Medicaid, CHIP, and HIP. Democrats like State Representative Greg Porter accuse Republicans who pushed for the abortion law of not being forthcoming about the potential financial impact.
We just needed more transparency. It should have gone through Ways and Means and deliberately discuss what the impact was going to be. And we did not do that.
Porter is particularly critical of the cost the state would face defending the law in court. He argues it's funding that could be used elsewhere.
We're dealing with teacher pay. We're dealing with infant mortality, morbidity.
But Republican State Senator Liz Brown argues those additional costs will be funds well spent.
I'm happy to fund more moms and babies through our HIP and CHIP programs.
Brown points out nearly $60 million would be a very small part of the state's budget across 3 years. She says those projections aren't a surprise to her, but she believes they're too high. She says the state has the funding needed to cover these costs and additional social services as well.
We are making sure that when we say that we're pro-life, we are pro-life from the beginning, and we're going to fund these programs, and these programs are successful.
We received a statement from Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita about this report. He said in part, quote, "The fiscal impact anticipated to defend SEA1 is consistent with the past decade to defend abortion-related legal challenges. As your Attorney General, I will never back down from defending the rights of the unborn." Now, House Speaker Todd Huston declined my request for an interview, but he also provided a statement saying social services funding for families remains a priority and says he'll continue to evaluate the funding that's needed as lawmakers work on a new state budget next year. In the newsroom, Kristen Escow, Fox 59 News.